Good morning from Denmark. I'm in Roskilde in Denmark. My name's Rachel Goodwin, and today we are going to be working with the rune Thurs. Now, just give me a moment. I'm just going to fiddle about a moment with my Facebook page. Oh, I can hear something somewhere. Oh, that's all right. I don't think it's me. I've got all these different screens here. Right, I'm just making this one. There we go. There we go. So, yes, we're working with the rune Thurs. This is spelled Thurs. So, I'm using the Scandinavian names for these runes. I'm training as a Save Kona in Sweden at the moment. I've done the first year's training, and now our modules are a bit delayed at the moment, so they're probably going to happen next year, but that's great because I have so much homework. It gives me a lot of time to get through my homework. So our teacher is Imelda Almqvist. She's a Dutch woman living in London, and she's absolutely fab. Her name is Almqvist. That's how you spell her surname, if any of you want to look her up. And what I'm doing here is sort of my thing from what I've learned from her, because what we're doing is we're journeying on the runes from the sort of dimension of working with the Ascension and evolutionary energies as they are on the earth at the moment. So I'm sort of doing this is kind of like my work that I would do every week anyway. It's sort of part of my personal development because it's what I'm interested in. And I thought while I was doing it, I might as well share it with all of you, because I think there's some very simple things that I can share that will bring the runes to life for you in the same way that when I learnt them from Imelda, they brought the runes to life for me, because I tried to, for quite a few years, I tried to learn about the runes from books. It didn't work. What we're doing today will set an energetic foundation for you. So you will get your own personal energetic relationship with the runes. And then from there, it's really useful and interesting, and you get a bit obsessed with it to read books, because the books, it's just everybody else's opinion. Just like none of us see a friend or a person or a lover the same way as everybody else. We've all got our own dimension on it, and it's the same with the runes. And you know what? That's okay. That's really, really fine. So I have, if any of you were watching mine and Jamie's podcast the other day, I have some lilac. I found it, we were walking, there's a whole row of lilacs in the park across the road where we live, called Folker Park, and it has this whole row of lilacs, and they're just starting to come out into blossom now. And we were talking about, we did this beautiful meditation on our podcast the other day, evolving into the cosmic heart. And I found this on the ground yesterday. We've had some really strong winds and rain, and it was just sitting on the ground, and it's come home, and I love it. I just wanted to show that to you. For those of you who were watching, will bringing back good memories from that. So just get myself into right. I am going to drum a rune circle for us, and this is where I'm going to sing the runes. I'm going to sing it 3 times while I drum. And the runes, you can see them as like a cosmology, or the story of the cosmos, with like the whole of the beginning and the end, and it goes around in a circle. And when you sing all of the runes or chant or speak, it's supposed to have like this energy of like wholeness to it. And I definitely feel like that when I do it. So I'm working with the Elder Futhark runes, and I'm working with it as the Uthark. And if you want to know what that means, go to my page, Ascension Runes, and scroll down, and there's a really nice article from Imelda where she explains that quite well. So as long as you're in a place where you can do this, just sit and close your eyes for a minute, and I'm going to sing the runes 3 times for us. And imagine that there's like a wall of runes like building up around you, or perhaps wall is a bit, just imagine they're like sitting around you in a circle of strength and power and loveliness and protection. Okay, here we go. Right, there we go. So I'm finding at the moment that when I wake up in the morning, I'm waking up quite heavy, feeling quite heavy. There's, it's gone on a long time, this coronavirus thing now, and it's quite wearing, I think, to keep dealing with this. And I really feel like I really find doing something like chanting the runes, or it's quite energizing. So it sort of helps my mood to sort of get a little less, it sort of breaks up that heaviness a bit. And I don't sort of think, oh no, isn't this terrible? I shouldn't be feeling heavy. It's like, whatever it is we're feeling when we get up, I think it's hard to realize how much stress it's placing on us, actually, because it's like an invisible thing, or perhaps it's not for you. Perhaps you are like more in touch with it. But for me, I find it, because it's not a visible kind of thing out there. But me and my husband were talking about it this morning, and just saying about what a stress this is on us at the moment. And if we were at war or something like that, it would be easier and sort of more tangible to see it. But it's really profound, the effect it's having on us. It's so important to have practices, spiritual practices and physical practices and things to keep us moving, to support us where we are at the moment. But back to Thurs. And I think actually I have been working with this quite a lot during the corona time. You can see it as a thorn. It's linked very much to the giant's energy in Nordic mythology. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'm going to talk about it after we've connected. So to connect with it, I'll suggest some different ways for you. If you don't have a rune set, it doesn't matter. Write it on a bit of paper, sit and hold it, look at it. Write it on your hand with a pen. If you're good at visualization, you can visualize it. Another good way to work with it is from the sound, and you chant Thurs, 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 Thurs. You can do this while you're drumming or shaking a rattle. For many years, I had a jar with some rice in it, and I would use that, and I actually liked that and did that because it made me feel like kitchen witch. Another thing you can do, and this is Jorn's suggestion. This is one of the books that I have. This is Jorn Eriksson. He is a Swedish guy who is very knowledgeable about runes, has some interesting ideas, and he suggests you breathe the rune in and out. And you can either do that by imagining the shape of the rune, see yourself breathing in and out, or you can imagine you're breathing the sound in and out, and that's very, very powerful. What we're going to do today is I'm going to put some drumming on, because drumming's very good for just like helping you go into a light trance. And personally, I just sit and hold the runes. Sometimes I see them getting bigger and they're like growing, and I either sit in them or they like, there's multiple of them and they like go round in a circle. So just feel what's right for you, think what's right for you, and just try one of these things. And you know, you can try different things and see what works nicely for you. So I'm just going to shut up for a bit now, put the drumming on, and then talk a little bit more again afterwards. Okay. I forgot one important thing. For those of you who weren't here last week and haven't done this before, I am journeying on this from the viewpoint of Ascension. So how does Thurs work with our Ascension and evolutionary process at the moment? You don't have to do it like this. You can just journey on Thurs for itself. But just so you know, that's what I'm doing. So when I start talking about it, it'll make some sense to you. All right, back to the drumming. Okay. So bring yourself back into this moment, this time, this place. I can see there's a couple of people here. Hi, Belinda. Hi, Marek. What else have we got there? Jane and Marta. Hi. And I know a lot of you be watching this later on. We're all in different time zones across the world. Now, I keep a journal for my rune journeys. So I'll be writing my insights down in this. Quite interesting to sort of build on them. And also just the act of writing it down, it makes you think about it more. And sometimes deeper things come through and other things that were just at the edge of your consciousness sort of come in as you're writing them down. So I mentioned before that this rune, Thurs, has been very present for me during this Corona time. And what I experienced when I started the journey with the drumming is that. So the first thing I do is I have it in my hands. I'm very kind of what's called, I suppose, clairsentient, kind of really feel things into things physically. And I felt like my energy body like opened up to the rune, and the rune got like really big and strong. And so it's connected to the giants, and the giants in Nordic mythology, well, they are really, in many ways, elemental forces, I think. But it's very hard to put them into categories. So I wouldn't say that as a definite thing, but there's a truth to it. And Thurs is like the opposite of the rune that we worked with last week, Ur. So Ur brings in the primordial creative force, and Thurs is the destruction. But I've come to think of it as like the in-breath and the out-breath. So Ur is the in-breath and Thurs is the out-breath. And the thing about an in-breath and an out-breath is they're not actually separate, part of the same cycle. Because we sort of think, so it like, I'll read out what Jörn says about it. Thurs is the complementary opposite to Ur and is thus the destructive primordial power that represents and brings disorder and chaos. And just like Ur, it is indispensable for creation. Thurs means dusk, darkness, and fright, but also wisdom, since the giants are the oldest creatures in the cosmos. So there's other things it means as well. There's a very strong protective thing as well. But as I was saying, if you think about like the in-breath and the out-breath, because like you think destruction, chaos, oh, fright, oh, that sounds terrible. But then if you think about the cycle of creation, once you've taken an in-breath, you have to take an out-breath, because if you don't, you can't take another in-breath. Like if you only had the in-breath, or you only had the out-breath, you wouldn't live very long. It is the in-breath and the out-breath together that create creation, that creates life. We're alive because we have Ur and Thurs, and they're not actually separate. When you can sort of bring it into that cycle of oneness, it takes on more of its esoteric meaning, rather than our society has made Thurs something terrifying and death something terrifying, and it's not. Destruction, it's not terrifying. So a while ago I was teaching, I worked with an ascended master called Sarah. She's the daughter of Mary Magdalene and the master Jesus, but she's working very much with our ascension. Okay, so she's very much in the present, and she has a vibration of violet flame, which I love, and I have some classes on that. And I mean, it's just an amethyst, but this is an amethyst that I've attuned. If I can get it out of my bag, get out the bag. this has got the violet flame symbol in it, Sarah's violet flame, and it just works as this like turns into a vortex whenever I need it, and like sucks stuff up. And so the violet flame was where I started my spiritual journey, which was somewhere in my 20s, I think, late 20s, after my mum died when I was 26. And the first thing I did on my spiritual journey was I did violet flame meditation nearly every night for about 2 years. That's all I did. I just brought it through my body. It was a practice from this place called the Thurs Society, and they connected like with UFOs and all sorts of things. But we're in London, and this practice was amazing. And I used to do this practice. You put it right above your head. And, you know, I have past life connections with the violet flame, like many of you. And, you know, I just, every time I see a workshop on a violet flame, I tend to go on it. It's like, I can never get enough. And I've known for a long time that it's an energy that's very close to creation without really understanding what that meant. Because I know it's transforming and transmuting all that's negative or inappropriate, as people use that affirmation a lot with the violet flame. But so there I was teaching this class on Sarah's violet flame, because we bring it in a lot for Ascension energies, because you have to clear it up with Sarah's violet flame first. And you know, so I was starting to work with these runes sort of in a much more powerful, magical way, like Imelda's teaching us. And so I said, I'm going to take a rune now, because I'm really interested to see what the runes have to say. And I pulled this one, and I was like, oh, I was a bit thrown. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting something more up rather than down. Although, of course, like I said, you know, this is our perception that chaos and destruction is down. And so I asked it, you know, so I did a bit of a talk about why I thought Thurs had come through. And then after I'd sort of stopped streaming, I sort of went for a walk with it, or tuned into it, I can't remember now. But it just came really clear to me that this is really, really aligned to the violet flame energy. And it's like, so that bit where, like, so you breathe it. So when I opened up to the energy, I like opened up to it, and it was really strong. And I could feel it was just like powering through my energy body, just clearing stuff, because that's it with the runes. So when you work with the runes, and when you know, if you use them for readings with other people, they don't just give you information, you know, that would be a missed opportunity. They take the opportunity to work with your energy field as well, because these runes, if you imagine, they are more like huge doorways of vast potential. And actually, as living beings, they sort of come in. They are like archetypes, if you like, of each part of the cosmic journey. And they come in and they sort of, they power through stuff or lift stuff, or, you know, they're very, very dynamic and very, very active. They do stuff. When you sit and journey with these runes, they are doing stuff with you, to you, teaching you, informing your energy body, and bringing it back into divine resonance, because they represent doorways of the sort of the pure original divine resonance. It's so hard to, it's so simple in my head, and then like trying to put words on it, it like gets a bit more complicated, but I hope you got some essence of what I mean there. So like Thurs comes in and it clears the way so that you can take your next in-breath. It almost like, so like you can be stuck, like maybe you're like, it's like you've taken a breath in and nothing's happening in your life because the energy is just stuck. And then Thurs comes in, and we made these. Imelda did a class for like making like bind runes and different ways of working with runes, talismans and stuff to work with the coronavirus. And I made this one. Well, I drew this one. It just sort of appeared on the page, but Thurs was in it. And then I was watching it, and I could see that it was sort of going around spinning, like chopping up that energy. And so like if you take a breath in, and it gets stuck in you. And then Thurs will sort of go around and like, and it's like, it kind of like brings that energy when, so you're like, and then you just go, and then automatically the next cycle is you go, and you take another in breath. So it is destruction, but it actually causes the creation as well, because they're not separate. They're not separate. That in breath and that out breath, one follows the other. Cool. Went on a whole thing there. And then another really wonderful use of this rune is protection. And that's where you see it as a thorn. And after I'd opened up, the rune came in and was sort of like going through my energy body. It then sat at the center of me. And I could see that it could turn in any direction. And it was like anything that was coming towards me, it would just, that was like not great. That was, you know, I needed protecting against. It would just point towards and send it off, you know, and it was just like swiveling like that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Because, I mean, I would, you know, I very much am aligned with the idea that, you know, the universe is love and all the rest of it. On the other hand, there are things that I would like to protect myself against. And the Old Norse, they used a lot of their magic. They were fighting a lot, and they used a lot of their magic for fighting. And the Berserker warriors, Odin and Thurs warriors, they would go into like shamanic trance and become bears and wolves and you know, to fight and be. That's why they were such fearsome fighters. So they were using Seither, and well, perhaps they wouldn't have called it Seither because it was unwomanly, it was unmanly. Seither was very much for women, the craft that I'm learning, although there were men that did it. Anyway, I'm going, that's it. I start talking on it and then I'm just like, I can't stop. It's like I go off on a tangent. So Thurs as an ascension thing, it clears a path really, so that things can happen. Because once that energy is like, I see it sort of destroying it, but it's destroying it, it's freeing up energy that's stuck so that it can come back and be used again. So let me just see if there's anything else that I should have said or yeah, so I wanted to mention I am setting up a rune school on Learn It Live where I will teach more in-depth work. So this that I'm doing every week, this is my practice, and I'm sharing this online. I'm going to teach some more in-depth things as classes. I will put that link up soon. I'm just in the middle of creating that, and I hope some of you will join me there. But for now, I think, is that it for today? Is that it for today? Have I forgotten anything? Don't think so. I just want to, just going to have a little spray. This is one of my, I work with the, we have an amazing energy grid in Roskilde where I live. It's got earth chakras, it's got springs, it's got power places, and it's all in the middle of a town. We've got a fjord there. And I make essences from these different power places. And I was told when I moved here that this is an ascension grid in the making. It used to be the centre of spirituality in Denmark years ago when Christianity started. Before that, it was the pagan centre just a bit up the road in Lyra. So this is some amazing power places in Scandinavia. I know we can't travel at the moment, but I've been really amazed at sacred Scandinavia, as I like to call it. And the springs in Denmark are particularly beautiful, wonderful, amazing. I love springs. I have so many favourites. They're all my favourites. But this essence, I make it from different places in the Ascension grid, and then I've made like a violet flame spiral that is just sort of, well, I say I made it. Ascended Master Sarah taught me how to make it, and then it's working with the elementals and her energy, and you bring in different crystal kingdoms in and things like that. So I facilitate it, I suppose I should say. And then I put lots of drops together from different things, and I make this and I sell this on my I have an Etsy shop as well, and you can buy like a stock bottle, so you can like make like years worth of bottles from it. And I would do that because maybe I don't like having to keep post stuff out. If I'm going to post stuff out, I want it to be really worth the effort, so that's it. Thank you very much. Please write your comments on below about what you get and all the rest of it. I really, really love reading them, and I will answer them all personally and have a look at them. And that's it for today. That's Wednesday today, isn't it? Is there anything else happening this week? I have another podcast Monday night. You can find that on my profile or on the page Evolving into the Cosmic Heart. I have to say my work at the moment is just like, I'm loving it. And it's like what's keeping me going in the midst of all this. So I hope you're getting stuff out of it as well. The energies are incredible at the moment, but also like in polarity, there's lots of other things happening that are just like, yeah, okay, I won't put words on it. You're living it too. So it's in balance, isn't it? So lots of love. That's it for today. Bye.